in essence, are blind because of the following that Wu-Tang has built itself. If you say that you're a Wu-Tang affiliate, people will give you the benefit of the doubt.
Wait, hold on. Now, say it again. This track was with who again?
Nicholas Cunningham. Oh, the one that he with Greg Hill from the Delphonics.
Right.
Right. Yeah, Greg Hill made the hook. Well, yeah, the hook and the beat. He did the production of the Save the Children song. That was also, the video was shot by Red TV. That's a guy out of Middletown as well. But I talked to Greg Hill myself. I called him up. I said, Greg, you know, me and Tyler had did a song on one of your tracks. You know, I was a little bit curious as to some of the information. Now, this is after me and GT had kind of fell out. You know, I started doing my research at this point because it's kind of fucked up that for 2 years, somebody that you consider your man's and $100,000 is just this fucking vindictive ass chameleon who just basically stayed cool with you because he needed a place to stay because other niggas was on his head.
Wait a minute. So you guys were living together for 2 years?
We were living together for a year.
A year?
Prior to that, we were in a label situation, but it was just over the phone.
Wow.
So then he had came at around this time he was doing his scams in Texas, and he had came with a fucking sob story about how his girl at the time had set a kitchen fire in the kitchen, and the house needs construction, and he owns a construction company, and this, that, and the third. And he's like, look, man, we about to start this tour, which has been documented, and it was been shown that we were all promoting this tour that was never even so much as prepared. It was just a list of fucking states and dates. So he tells me about this tour. He's telling us that we're going to get paid 3 times in the tour. Once at the beginning, once in the middle, and once at the end of the tour. So he's like, all right, well, what we can do is, since I got my house under construction, I ain't even got really a place to stay, I can come out there in Ohio, and we can go get a house together, and we'll go half on the bills. Now, at the time, you know what I mean, I didn't need the help, but of course, you know what I mean, when somebody who's telling you that they're going to change your life and going to make shit good for the better is giving you a solution as a temporary fix, hell yeah, you want to take on that opportunity, because at that point, you're already sold to the dream. You're already sold to the idea that this is not going to be the life for me for very long.
Plus, it takes money. It takes money to make money. So if you're paying half the bills, then you have a little bit more to invest in yourself. So of course, it would be a good idea.
Exactly, and you know, but then so he moves out here, everything in one little ass U-Haul truck. He's got all of 2 TVs, a couch, and some clothes. And he basically moves into my basement of the house that we moved into. And, you know, he pays his half the rent, which there was really no complaints on that. Then he went from gearing me towards being an artist and this big ass dream of this tour to actually gearing me towards more so being the president of a company. So now he's stalling me longer because he's got me looking at a bigger picture, but it's really not a picture at all. This shit is like extra sketch. You know what I mean? The nigga shake the board and it's so low. So he's telling me this idea of being the president of the company. We go down, we do our first show in Louisville. We got paid, I want to say we got paid $500. We split the 500. Hotel accommodations were provided. Transportation was provided. And we were going down there to sign 2 artists. We wound up leaving with about 17 artists. All of these artists were required by his standard to drop wherever they was living to come live where we were living in Kentucky, and basically bring a tent and live in the backyard. So we had 4 tents set up with pretty much like 15 people living in the backyard. And these people were required to, you know, get rid of their electronic devices. They were not allowed to communicate to the outside world or talk about what we were doing. They were not allowed to watch TV or anything like that. Like, the shit was really, it was designed to remove you from the materialistic world. Now, I created the whole curriculum for the boot camp, the name of the movement, which was Wu Federation. Prior to that, it was called Top Shotta Records. So when he made me president, that's when it became Wu Federation, because my affiliation to Brooklyn Zoo and Wu-Tang Clan have official ties. You know, so he was preying on that. So I'm leading this whole movement. I'm creating a fucking laundry list of havoc because of it. Because now, you know, the people who ideally had the opportunity to warn me about this scumbag allowed me to continue working with him, and now I'm making him seem bigger than life because they basically played the background and didn't say shit. So that created a whole bunch of havoc. And we created Wu Federation. We had the boot camp set up to where it was to condition the artists, to bring up their cardio, to prepare for this tour that he was telling us about, and to also basically discipline them to act as a unit, you know, because we can't, supposedly, in my mind, is that we can't be traveling with this many people and expecting people to understand the ins and outs and what our expectations are. So that was the idea behind boot camp. Boot camp was very successful. I mean, we weeded out a lot of, I like to consider them fake or temporary artists, because some people really wanted this shit. Some people really want to change their lives, and they really believed in their craft. So the people who wind up surviving were able to go through the training with no problem, were able to start learning, you know, about how to hone their craft and, you know, use more of a vocabulary, different words, so on and so forth. This is all the stuff that I'm taking out of my own personal time, away from my own personal career, my family and everything, to basically train total strangers from the middle of West Bumblefuck America to be iconic figures.
What would be your definition of fake or temporary?
My definition of a fake or temporary artist would be somebody who does nothing but record music and release it on the internet. Like, an artist to me is somebody who records their craft, presses up their craft, goes out there, pushes their craft, performs, you know, and is constantly on the social media. Like, you can be the biggest hip hop all-star behind the camera on pictures, but if you come to their house and, you know, not a single thing music related is around, and, you know, this is not your line of your struggle, and this is something you just picked up in the last 2 years, like, you don't really have a respect for the craft, and that shit's gonna easily,
so it'd be more like a hobby, like a hobby rapper or hobby artist. And
it's a hobby to a lot of people, which is why I don't have many artists on my label, because that's one of my first questions is, how serious are you? You know, and a lot of these artists are not serious enough and are not willing to make the sacrifice necessary to see to the success of their career.
Right. So then, in relation to the boot camp, I'm assuming, I mean, it all sounds like if it were being run by, if the other party involved was reputable, it could have been a good thing. However, I'm assuming also on the conman side of things that having them get rid of all of their electronic devices was a safety precaution, because there might be one smart one out of the bunch that starts to Google things and at night or whenever they're not in boot camp training and expose something.
Yes and no. At the same time, you gotta understand that how do I describe it? I want to say like the single cell organism thinking kicked in. When you have a mass of people following one person and everybody's convincing you of the same thing, it's hard for you to stray away or think something wrong. We set up pretty much an Amish society to where you are blocked out from the outside world. What we say is God and truth. You had no other choice but to believe that. It was basically psychological warfare on his behalf, because he convinced them that if you are willing to give up everything, you will gain everything.
So kind of like a music cult.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm sorry, I have to interject. You know, I hope I don't piss nobody off. as far as my listeners, but I just have to say, that's some biblical bullshit right there. You know what I mean? If you willing to give up all your riches in the world, I'll give you the keys to paradise.
Right, that was his exact words, if not verbatim.
Wow.
That's scriptural. That's from the Bible.
We're dealing with a little bit of a music antichrist here. But anyway, so the boot camp went well, and so then after boot camp, what happened after that?
After boot camp, there came a sudden rush to complete a mixtape to represent, the entire label, and he made outrageous deadlines for this mixtape. A lot of artists wind up getting dropped because of the deadlines. After the deadlines came just tedious things, like very minute things, to any reason to give you $100 fine, $50 fine, anything to tap your pocket, until you just say, you know what, I'm tired of this shit. So, and you walk away.
Where are the people getting the money from?
Man, these people were pawning televisions, selling clothing, selling food stamps that they were getting, or,
and giving him all of the money in hopes that they would become successful. And then there was a sudden rush to do a mixtape because he could get more money, but it wasn't going to happen, so he could start firing everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Now keep in mind, you might ask yourself, how is somebody just willingly handing over $500 or willingly handing over $100 at a time, knowing that they got a family provider for? When you have somebody in your ear consistently telling you, you see what my life is, you see my mansion, I can stand on my millions, my black card can take care of me, this, that, and the third, every day, 24/7 in your face, and this person is hindering basically your path to the same life that he is living by telling you, well, because you broke this rule, that's a bad thing, and I'm not going to let your career go forward because of it until you pay this fine.
Wait, hold on. So, you guys, wait a minute. So at this time, are you guys living together at this time, or how? Because I'm just trying to visualize all of this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we were all living together. Like, I never received a fine. Let's make that clear. There was never any exchange of money from me to him. The only thing that I lost essentially has been time.
So
the only thing that I will not get back from wasting my time with this guy.
Right. Okay. But no, because I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm thinking, and I'm like, okay, so basically, this guy just came in from out of nowhere, told you that his house got burnt down, that you and him could get a place together, and prior to that, you have no previous track record of this guy whatsoever.
No, there was somebody in the camp that was vouching for him.
He was validated to me from people that I felt were credible, which now I've learned to not fucking trust anybody's opinion in that regard. So that's why I got my own company now, because it's hard to get to the fucking nuts and bolts of the situation if you're not running the situation.
Right.
So out of that whole time, nobody got a chance to see the mansion?
Nah. I mean, the nigga went as far as telling me every day, because the only reason I'm stuck in the Midwest is because I made a conscious decision 5 years ago when my ex-wife had left me and moved out here, that either I can stay in New York and pursue my career, or I can come out here and be a father to my kid. And I chose to be a father. So that's the only thing keeping me grounded to this area. And every day, this nigga told me, we can just pack up and move down to Florida and live in the mansion, and you ain't got to worry about none of this. I've had countless people tell me that they called that property and spoke to the real estate agent. They don't even know who this nigga is.
Mm. Oh, he actually gives a physical address for the mansion?
Huh?
He actually gives a physical address for the mansion?
No. But if you Google the pages of the pictures that he's showing you,
wow.
It'll track down. Right, it'll track down to a fucking location in like West Palm Beach.
Wow.
And he claims the house is in Miami.
So he pulled a picture of a mansion off of the internet and didn't think that there was going to be anybody at any point that was going to upload it into Google Images to see where it was.
Hey, wait a minute.
That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Wait a minute. I just saw some pictures last week, 2 weeks ago, that was supposed to be like the kitchen area and the pool area.
It looks real nice. How is the nigga making all that money not taking a single selfie in there? I'm just asking. You know what I mean? Because if I'm flossing like that, nigga, you're going to see me with the big-ass fucking macaroni and cheese smile next to my shiny sink. We taking cannonballs in the pool.
Right.
I'm not sitting there taking pictures that would be appealing for a realtor to sell a property. They fucking kidding me?
Right.
No clothes in the background. No TV
nothing.
on.
That shit look like some shit out of Dree's Home advertising.
Wow.
Okay, so
the nigga lived in my basement and was telling hoes that he had coming over here that his house was right around the corner, which is a very large house that's around the corner that overlooks most of Kentucky. And he said that because he has termites in there and he's helping my bum ass, that's why he's living in my basement. And these bitches is believing it. Nigga, you living in a basement.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, there are a lot of women that would believe con men.
I've seen so many foolish women just give it up for no reason, just because you say I'm GP Shotta from Wu-Tang.
Right.
That's all you gotta say. And they don't question this shit. They don't ask no questions. But you know what? It's all good because that shit ain't nothing but karma. I can tell you a couple of things for a fact. And here's a fact. He's having unprotected sex. For a fact. He has his first wife who has 4 of his children right now. God knows how old they are. But he's been married to her since she was 18. This nigga's pushing 50.
Ooh. Wow. I did not know that.
His second wife that he got married to illegally, he stole her car, got her to fully fund his Top Shotta Records company, and he dipped out.
First wife, second wife, but first wife he's still married to, so he's going around the country being a polygamist?
Basically. And it's like, I don't understand why people don't take more pride into exposing shit like this, because personally, this is a lifetime story for real.
Right.
Like, this nigga is a monster.
Well, I was told that no, this is a disgruntled artist that used to be signed to my label.
Disgruntled. I sound so angry and hostile, don't I?
Yeah. Also, his identity was stolen.
Right.
Well, honestly, why people don't expose this more, one would be because there's a hurricane of bullshit that you take on. You have a lot of people that thank you, and then you have a lot of people that attack you for doing it. And a lot of people don't speak up because they aren't real themselves. They have a lot of things and a lot of skeletons to hide. And if you speak up, if you're having an affair and your best friend's having an affair and you're not best friends anymore, and you decide to tell on your best friend can tell on you too. So a lot of people don't speak out because they have too much dirt in their life and in their business that they don't want to expose. Pretty much we try to live by, we're not perfect, but by integrity and business ethics and expose, shed light on the darkness. And even if it's our own, we'll apologize for mistakes that we've made, but it's about business and making money and moving forward and being successful. It's not about pumping yourself up and making yourself look and appear to be something that you're not.
Just so you can con somebody out of their money.
Right.
Exactly. That's pretty much what it is. Like,
so, so you say my man is getting SNAP? What is SNAP? Is that like the welfare, or what is that?
SNAP is an acronym for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
Food
and
stamps.
That's basically somebody with no income who can qualify. Anybody can qualify. If you ain't got a job, you can qualify right off the rip with no income. But for him, he's banking at least $500 a month in food stamps because of his 2 kids. and then he also collects child support and Social Security.
So how is he flying around the country the way that he is? Because like we did a show together in Utah, and he had said something about RZA or somebody from the Wu that's overseeing his career. They basically, between the California trip, the Utah trip, and the Arizona trip, that they spent like $8,000 just in flight alone. I mean, how do you explain that?
I don't discredit that the flights would have cost $8,000, but when you're a scam artist, you're gonna find ways around shit. So ideally, his baby mother, who just graduated flight attendant school, is an airline attendant. So that entitles him to free flights across the country, where he would only have to pay taxes. Now, I have a friend who also works for the airline company, and he only charges me taxes for my flights. So yeah, I can go all around the country. But if you're a promoter and I'm looking to squeeze more money out of you, I'm going to sit there and tell you about my problems now. Somebody has to pay for my flight. Somebody has to pay for my hotel reservation. Somebody has to do this, that, and the third, because I'm appearing to look as professional as possible. So when I'm hitting you with all these details that your average Joe Schmo, fucking hip-hop artists or reggae artists wouldn't know because they're so stuck in their own bullshit and they don't even know the game, he's going to run that across you, and that's gonna wow you. It's going to give you a wow effect, because now you're feeling like you're dealing with somebody who's about something. And he'll lead you on to his ABC interview and everything else on TV, but if you know the views on that shit, then they ain't cracking no major views on that, and that's in my eyes, that would be a major accomplishment.
Right. So
then,
I'm wondering why. I know that the Wu-Tang Clan has to have received wind of this. There has to be people in the industry who have received wind of this. Why haven't there been repercussions yet?
Well, it's hard to place action on somebody who's basically, they're doing something but they're not doing something. Now, he'll never release any material claiming Wu-Tang or anything like that for sale. He'll never put out there that, on a flyer or something, that he is Wu-Tang. He'll never do that, because immediately he'll run into legal problems. Now, I know personally of a rep from Wu-Tang who makes it her personal business to locate these flyers or whatever flyers and shows that he's on, and if they are promoters who are of relevance or who have any credibility, she makes it her business to contact them and let them know. But he looks up by catching a lot of these up and coming.
Ooh, I was in Utah when one of those calls came in, and it was actually at that time that he was told that he had to stop saying something about Brooklyn Zoo, and that he could only say in fact, if you go through my wall on Facebook, because I was the DJ for Perfect Pleasure Tour with Crazy out of Las Vegas.
That is still going on. That Perfect Pleasure Tour is still taking place.
So I was present for that call, and during that time he made a phone call to someone who was supposed to be from Wu, that was like, okay, well, this is what the get down is, don't rep that, rep this, what I mean, don't say that because it's some type of issue.
Did he ever tell you who he was talking to?
I think he said RZA.
Now RZA, would have every right to that W, so he could tell anybody he wants to use it. Why would RZA himself tell Tyler Simpson not to use the W? And it's funny you mentioned that Utah show, because a representative for Protect Your Neck Records. Now,
right, that's what it was. That's what it was. Protect Your Neck. That's what it was. Right. I was there when the phone call came in for that.
Right. Now, he was put on a phone call, which he probably won't disclose the details of that conversation, but he was put on a phone call at that time while he was in Utah not only with a representative from Protection Neck, but with the owner of Protection Neck, which is his name is Moot.
Right.
And Moot told him flat out, nigga, you ain't allowed to use this shit. Period. You're not Wu-Tang. You're not part of Wu-Tang. You're not even a little bit Wu-Tang. The only time he'll really put out that Wu-Tang shit is if he put in somebody who's a Wu-Tang affiliate on that flyer with him. If it's him by himself, it's GP SHOTTA, reggae art. That's it.
And new Wu generation.
Family, some shit like that on there, but nothing really tying him or making him official to that.
But
he pushed around with fucking $30 chains on. You know, that don't make him Wu-Tang.
So the new t-shirt. Hold on. So the new Wu Federation, that's actually underneath you?
No, the new Wu generation is under Protection Neck. That's totally separate from Wu Federation. Wu Federation was created under Top Shot Records.
Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm following it correctly. So he didn't have permission to use the Wu or to protect your neck, but he could still slide with the new Wu generation.
From a legal standpoint, he don't need permission to use the shit. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can say Wu.
Yeah, they can say whatever.
These motherfuckers run around saying Wu this, Wu that.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Like, you can't stop them. But when you start throwing up that W and start making it about this music, that's when you start running into problems. So he adjusted the logo to sort of look like the W, but it more so personified his label.
Yeah. So yeah, because he has it representing Brooklyn Zoo, New Wu generation. Yeah, I'm looking. Let me
tell you who Tyler Simpson is. Tyler Simpson is a Wu-Tang fanatic. Okay? When I say that because I have credible sources that I've heard with my own ears saying that way back in the years, and I'm talking about when I was still in diapers, this nigga was driving around, him and his wife, sleeping at Wu-Tang shows. He wore the same Wu-wear outfit and pretty much just jumped into the entourage whenever he saw him coming out of the club like he was a part of the movie.
So, whoa. So basically he's been a groupie crashing the entourages.
Yep. And he loves fucking hoes with multiple niggas involved too for some reason. There's a fascination with that because he's always offered, you know what I mean, for me to do some shit like that with him. I personally know other niggas who have done shit with him, and it's just like, nigga, that's nasty. Like, I grew up in a whole different era, and I can't have that many balls on my court.
Right.
So, you know, he's nasty for real. And, you know, one of the artists that was subjected to his bullshit ended up getting pregnant. She wound up having a miscarriage. One of the female artists, she didn't even make it to the label and was already fucking him in the hotel that we was in fucking Louisville. So it's like, once he feel like he's gonna try very hard to get what he wants from you, once he got that, then he just fucking, he's abusing you. Like, he's telling you, like, I don't give a fuck about you, this is my label and I'm gonna run it how I want it.
So how many people, sorry, how many people have come forward to you and reached out to you? I know we did. And Diamond gave me permission to actually say it. She brought it to our attention. So how many people have actually reached out to you to get the truth or to complain or to say that they've been screwed over?
To be honest with you, like, after the whole boot camp situation, I kind of went into my own little depression for about 10 months. I didn't really say much, didn't post anything, didn't do much music related. I was kind of waiting for him to make a move, and then I just got the feeling that he was playing. You know what I'm saying? So I just said, fuck it. And from the day that I decided to air him out, like, my phone has been ringing off the hook. You know what I'm saying? So I'm almost like Crime Stoppers to this nigga. Like, there's nothing he can post. There's no show that he can do that I don't know about. Right. The last show he did in Arizona, his promoter put it up on her page, and I said, thanks for the information. You know, he didn't even show up to the show.
Really?
He knows when I see him, it's going to be on. It could be broad daylight, Sunday morning in church. When I see him, it's going to be on. And there's going to be cameras going, and it's going to write the world star, because I'm going to beat the brakes off of him. So I know where he lived too. That's the funny part. Because the nigga thought he was going to move, know where I live. I know exactly where he lives. You know what I'm saying? I know where his girl drive. I know where his son go to school. So I don't feel threatened by him. A lot of people say I should be concerned because he know this, that, that. I don't give a fuck what he know. At the end of the day, I'm a real ass nigga, and I'll grab him by the throat and wring his fucking dreads out.
So hold on, man. You said something about not really from Guyana?
Yeah, that nigga, he had a fascination, and this is something that I found out through his father. He had a fascination with being from Guyanese when his father got with his second wife. His first wife, she's African American, but she's a corrections officer in New York. He's actually from South Carolina, and he married a Guyanese woman after Tyler's mother. So he got the fascination about being Guyanese. He grew out some dreads, came up with this phony baloney story about how Shaggy is his uncle, but Shaggy's like Jamaican or some shit, so that doesn't even make sense. But yeah, and then he grew out his dreads, and he doesn't have any kind of like accent to his voice. Like I said, I lived with the nigga for a year. My family's from Trinidad. I have an accent when I get angry. Like, this nigga sounds like an educated fucking nerd. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey. Nigga don't sound like that. And he tried to sound a little bit of ghetto or thugs from Brooklyn or whatever when he talked about Wu-Tang and shit, but on some real shit, that nigga's a nerd. He's a paper pusher.
Get a little accent tone, get a little... Man. Wow.
So he goes from city to city and ends up, I don't know about men, but definitely conning women. So as far as the people that he ends up getting representing him, it appears that they end up being women as well, as his manager is now. Do you believe that maybe they initially are conned, but how long does it take? Do you believe they eventually find out and they know what's going on as well?
I think they know, but the embarrassment of falling for it is too much to say anything. Because it's like, you gotta remember, when this nigga hits you, he not hitting you lightly. He hitting you hard. So for you to come forward and say, damn, this nigga got me for my life savings, damn, this nigga fucked me and I'm married. To say that would destroy people. So he puts you in a situation where you have to weigh out your options.
Now hold on. Hold on, pimpin'. You know, I hollered at him and he said he's not the type of brother that sleeps with other men's women, bro.
Oh, wow. I can tell you right now, that nigga probably ain't been to church in about 40 years, and that nigga walked in, combusting fire. That nigga, he has fucked, that I know of, firsthand, 3 artists, females. And this is with these men sleeping in my backyard, no cell phone, and he down here fucking their old lady in the basement.
Wow.
Wait, they're in the backyard?
These are the artists that were in
and
the
he's in the basement fucking their wives?
They in the backyard, in a tent, in a sleeping bag, no TV, no cell phone. Boo Boo came to visit, just wanted to see how you doing, and then she getting her fucking socks rocked in the basement before she go home.
Wow. Willingly because he's supposed to be a star, or did he say something to him as they were walking out the door that it could help their man's career, or they just were groupie type women?
I mean, at the end of the day, loyalty is only as strong as you build it. So if your house is built on rocky foundations and your chick got wandering eyes, my nigga, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, that.
But as the artist slash manager or whatever person link that's supposed to get you to your dream, you're not supposed to be sleeping with the women just to weed them out, just to prove to them she wasn't loyal, dog. Oh wow!
When there's money involved, I've seen so much loyalty just dissipate.
For sure.
These bitches was fooled that this nigga was a millionaire. They was fooled that he had a black card and a house and nice cars and bitch, I could change your life. That's the line he gave them. So they give up the ass. They see the control that he has over their man, and they feel a little bit of power. They are convinced. But the only difference is they're not bound by contractual agreement, which really means shit because it ain't a legitimate legal contract. But a person who doesn't know about legality is not going to look into that. They're going to fear the paperwork because that's what they signed and obligated themselves to.
Right. Well, his manager out here, she doesn't even have her own house or car or money or job. So I don't know what it is that he feels he's getting from her. I don't know if it's, I don't know, safety, maybe a little bit of respect, but I don't exactly know what he feels he's going to end up getting from her out here.
But that's the thing. It don't always have to be sex that he's getting. You gotta understand that. The fact that you're willing to sit here and blindly follow him into the fucking fire, that's enough. Especially on social media. Because there's one more person convinced of his bullshit.
Right. Wow. So.
And we'll sit there and blindly defend this nigga on social media and never meet him.
Yeah. We had that happen yesterday. We had quite a backlash for exposing some things, and they didn't even know what was going on. Just blindly defend her, him. I mean, we got called all sorts of names, but that's okay. That comes with the territory of exposing the truth. I mean, we're going to hell and all that for exposing the truth. But
I'll be leading the charge then.
Right.
I can tell you right now, I'm getting under his skin. I've received 6 missed calls today from an unknown number from Texas. I don't know nobody from Texas, but that nigga does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I'm gonna fucking taunt him day and night. You want to be famous? I'm gonna make you famous, my nigga.
With his abilities, he could be using him for good and not for darkness, though. I mean, there's so much.
Doing the dirt so long, you can't teach your old dog new tricks.
Right.
That's easy money to a nigga who lives off the system.
Right.
We're talking about a man who has a baby mother in Ohio. Now, I'm not talking about his wife. I'm not talking about his current baby mother. I'm not talking about his first wife. I'm talking about another female with 2 of his kids. The agreement he has arranged with this silly hoe is that, okay, you can have the state assistance, but you got to send me the food stamp card.
What? And somehow they're all either conned or mind controlled. He has instilled some kind of fear in them to where they do this.
Well, I mean, you drop a baby in somebody and all they give you is mystified dreams, you're going to be chasing that for a minute. You ain't got a social. You ain't got no real identification to fucking put him on any kind of paperwork. All you got to go on is his word, and he's very careful when he's around you. You got his baby.
Whoa.
So it don't bother him that you got his baby, but it's obligating you to him.
He doesn't have a social? He doesn't have a social, or they can't find it?
After he just pops a baby in you.
Right. Well, I damn sure I'm not giving you my food stamp card either.
Well, he's managed to find some of the dumbest broads I can honestly say are on this planet that are willing to give him whatever.
Wow. So how, I know that you have, you actually have a couple companies that you're the CEO of. You have the Big Squad and the Rest 100, and one is considered, you just started a label?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in starting all this and putting it all together and having to weed people out, and we know exactly how that is, and you get frustrated and discouraged and start not answering the phone because you don't know who's real and who's not, and you got to figure all that out. So it sounds like you've gotten to a landing point where you've weeded out the bad and you have a tight-knit circle. So what advice would you give to the listeners as far as, I don't care if it's an artist from Wu-Tang or if it's somebody that says they know Too Short or Snoop or Ludacris, if they say that they're signed and they say, or even that they were signed, if they say they know somebody and they're starting to sell you a dream, what would you say are some warning signs as far as identifying, or how would they go about identifying whether or not they were for real or not?
I mean, some easy ways, obviously, would be scanning some of the photos that you see on Facebook, because those are big advertisement schemes for scams, saying or claiming of what they have. You know, some big telltale signs is that motherfucker is not even in range of any of those photos for him to be claiming any of that. Like, prime example, he had posted that he had a photo, autograph signing or whatever, and there was a whole bunch of people lining up out front, this, that, and the third. You know, I took that photo and I scanned it, and it came up as it was a calling for people wanting to adopt orphan animals.
Oh, wow.
And they were lined up. They were lined up outside of the fucking the pet agency or whatever, trying to adopt orphan dogs. This motherfucker snatched a picture and said, "Oh, this is my autograph signing. Thanks for everybody showing up. Wu-Tang is forever."
Wow.
Then he took another picture, which was the release of one of the pairs of Jordans that came out last year, and it was just a huge crowd up there in Ohio. And he snatches that picture and posts again. Thanks for the big show. Everybody coming out, this, that, and the third. Now, mind you, I'm the nigga who he's saying that is his right hand man. I'm the nigga running the company, which inspired me to get my own company because I was doing all the legwork. So he'll sit back and take all the credit for shit that he's not doing to make himself look bigger.
Okay. So the first thing would be scanning pictures into the internet, checking that. So you go to Google Images and pull the images in there and make sure that everything checks out. There was somebody.
I don't want artists to be scared to talk to people and make connections. That's what you're going to have to do in this industry. But before you commit yourself to something, know that you've checked and done your research.
Right.
Don't accept what the motherfucker who's selling you on an idea tells you.
Right. Because ultimately, this may be your dream. This may be, you may be really good at it. It could end up, being your career. And you do have to invest money into any kind of business that you decide to take on. However, it's not just money that you're investing. If you turn your reputation and your copywritten or uncopywritten songs into the hands of somebody that is fraudulent, they can, and there has been instances of that, where they take the beats and they sell them to Nelly, or they take an entire song and Justin Timberlake redoes it. They don't know that it was stolen from someone, but it's because people didn't do their research and they end up getting taken for everything they had.
Right.
And sometimes that's not just money. Sometimes it's a beat you could have received $15,000 up front for and royalties on.
Right.
So it would be
that's a big part.
So you would recommend do your research. What if they don't have the know-how? Are there people that they could call?
There's always somebody you can call. If somebody is that iconic and famous as they say, there's always going to be somebody you can reference or talk to. It's just the internet has made shit so easy. Anybody can be a qualified detective.
Right.
There's only so much good that's just going to cover the bad. Like I said, I refer to this nigga as Tyler Simpson. The world may call him GT SHOTTA, which Google will populate the first 10 things that look best or receive the most hits about this nigga. But when you look up Tyler Simpson and put GT SHOTTA afterwards, that's when all the scam shit starts coming up. That's when the shit from Florida pops up about 30 artists sitting in a Walmart parking lot because they paid such and such amount of dollars to be on a tour and it never happened. That's when you start finding about the kids who got scammed in Texas who went through the same exact thing. And they described this nigga to the T. A black male with dreads and Wu-Tang tattoos. But he'll tell you straight to your face, oh no, that can't be true. That's somebody who stole my identity. Blah, 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 blah. Hold on, my nigga. Now, I done heard of identity theft in my life, but not for a nigga to walk around with black skin, tattoos, and dread.
Not with Wu-Tang tattoos.
Specifically Wu-Tang tattoos.
Right. So,
it's hard to really expose this to everybody because our networks are limited, because our genre creates a bias. Everybody's so in tune with themselves. Look at it. Look at every other genre. They're willing to support their shit across the board, no matter who it is. Hip hop is the only fucking genre that artists are paying to perform. Why?
Right.
Any other place is offering their talent money to get on their stage because they know that their crowd is going to bring overall money. So the problem is, when none of these artists really putting in the work to develop that crowd, none of these artists really putting in any of their time to develop their craft, you end up with an audience full of fans, so now you will have to pay.
Well, because you can accidentally kick a rock and hit 100 rappers in any city. So it's a way to, if any of them will come up with money. There's a lot of them, they won't come up for a beat or come out of pocket for a beat or for social media management or anything else, but they'll find a way to scrounge up some money to perform on shows. But it's a way to get back their money for bringing out big name artists from local hip hop artists that want to, but they get up on stage, they do their little song, and they don't have to have anything to get up there. So when they get to somebody like you or with us, and they're told you need an EPK, you need a bio, are you registered with BMI or ASCAP? They say, what? Because they're in the real industry, you would have to have all of those things if you were going to get up there and perform and get paid for it. But because you're paying, you're kind of like a sponsor or a vendor. You're not really an artist. You're just getting up there and you're being like a sponsor of the show. But they don't look at it that way. But
because it's a hobby.
Well, and also there aren't enough companies or individuals like us that will tell people your music sucks. There are some that are good that need little minor tweaking or they need some artist development that would help them get better. But for the most part, they all need to have a plan B and go to it. And if there were people that would actually tell them, this should not be your career, this is a hobby, you need to step aside so that the real artists can actually get recognition and build their career, then maybe our economy would be better and child supports would be getting paid and all that stuff. But everybody wants to be a rapper, and everybody says, oh, you're great, man, and they're all screaming unity and support and coming out to each other's shows, and it's ridiculous. But in regards to
turn into an AA group, we're all supporters, we're all this, we're all that, but really, where's the talent? You can support garbage all day, but you're only going to reproduce garbage.
Right.
Like, nobody's bringing back regiments. Everybody's getting politically correct. With hip-hop, the one thing that should not be politically correct, all right, now they done made NFL athletes be more professional on the court. Now they done made NBA athletes be more professional on the court. You're trying to build something out of nothing. Who the fuck tells you what you can and can't do?
Mm-hmm.
And it takes people like us to create shows where we have a judge panel, where we have somebody saying, yo, this nigga sucks, where we actually bring back the Sandman from Apollo and get these niggas off the stage. Because nobody's getting embarrassed anymore. Everybody's believing their own bullshit.
Right.
Bro, talk on the side, man.
Right. And actually, we should have you back to discuss that, because I know that we're talking about having a competition or a contest in Phoenix and maybe some other cities as far as artists are concerned, where they could come and be judged, and then the winner would win whatever. We haven't discussed that yet, but we should have you back to further discuss that, because that would be something for artists to look forward to, and maybe do some weeding out finally.
I mean, I think there's something we can do, and like I said, I want this to be something where the artist is actually earning something for their craft, you know. And I don't believe that we need to stop in Arizona. At least we need to have a couple of dates booked out in advance to just get like a mini tour going, just to gain that notoriety that we're bringing this regiment back to hip hop. We're bringing the notoriety of the real back to hip hop. We're letting motherfuckers know that your music is not going to be accepted here.
Right. Better come correct or don't come at all.
Exactly.
Okay, so in regards to imposters, artists being imposters, I think we've pretty much covered the basis on different ways that an artist can infiltrate and fool you, ways that you can identify it, ways that you can check into it and protect yourself. Ultimately, it is your money, and it is your career, and it is your reputation on the line, so don't believe the hype. Research it. Just because somebody says they're top dog does not mean that they're top dog.
Yep.
You have anything else to add, Mr. DJC Alpha?
No, you know what I'm saying? Well, we definitely appreciate you, man, you know, putting us up on the 4-1 for sure. You know what I mean? You know, it's a shame, man, you know, we catch a lot of flack, you know what I mean, when we have folks doing scandalous stuff, man. You know, as a community, we're supposed to try and stick together. You know what I mean? You know, and that's speaking from the hip hop perspective. You know what I mean? You know, but you got a lot of cats out here that's trying to feed off of those that don't know. You know what I mean? So, like I said, we definitely appreciate you giving us a call and taking the time to talk to us. You know what I mean? And lacing us up with the real. Like I said, you know, I talked to GT yesterday, you know, and he gave me a completely different song and dance, you know, said his identity was stole, said that, disgruntled artist. I mean, everything that you would expect a person to say, you know what I'm saying, given the situations, you know what I mean. You know, I'm one of those people, though, that with me, once I catch you in one lie, your credibility is shot, you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So if you tell me a million things, but you know, if you tell me one thing, if you tell me a million things, and out of the million things I catch you lying about one, all the rest don't mean shit. So with that being said, you know, like I say, I do appreciate the call, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And shout out to your team, man. Truluminati, man. Y'all good people over there. Definitely. You know what I mean? Rest100.com, Big Squad Entertainment. Definitely link with y'all, man.
Yeah, that definitely. You know what I mean? And we look forward to doing a lot of work together, man. You know what I mean? You know, we do much more than just radio.
Opportunity can only build progress, my friend.
Yeah, that.
And because we, because of the different cities that we live in, speaking to our listeners in Arizona, that in relation to, this is RICO, he's with the Big Squad, he has rest100.com. If you contact him, or if anybody contacts us, your credibility will be validated. Just have a heads up, know in advance that he will contact us, we will contact him, and there's no fooling going on. So make sure that you come correct and you come with respect, because we will not tolerate disrespect when coming at our associates. So you are listening to Get Your Life right here on Blaze Up Radio. This is Rebecca Miss PR, and we thank you for listening. We thank you, DJC Alpha.
Yeah, did I.
And we thank you, RICO.
No doubt. Peace.
Again, this is Blaze Up Radio, and you're listening to Get Your Life.